Hi, how are you? I'm good, I'm good. I can't hear you. There's no sound. Don't know if it's myself here on my side.
Mate, you know what it is? It's been a long, long weekend, Keith. I forgot to press the button. I forgot
Happy
to
day.
press the button. How you doing, pal?
Fantastic, fantastic. It's actually hit me now because I had my kids earlier on, so I watched the game. The emotions were high, but to actually sit back now and realise 12 honours in the space of 4 years, remarkable.
It is remarkable, Keith. And you know what? The fact that I made a wee error there doesn't matter, does it? Because we won. We won the 12th trophy in a row. Your pal Mick's waiting to come in, so I'll disappear and I'll let you guys run with it. All right,
Fantastic. Thanks very much for having us on.
Mick, how you doing, pal?
Well,
Can you hear us, Mick?
yeah,
Right, lads.
John,
It's
thanks
over
so much
to
for
you.
having me.
Yous are the Sunday night headliners. I'll disappear. Over to you guys. All right.
Thanks, John.
Have a
Thanks
good
so
one.
much for having us
Have a
on.
good one.
So, Mick, we're on the
Well, Keith,
we're on a Celtic State of Mind for tonight. How are you keeping?
yeah. Not so bad. Just before I was about to say, thanks very much for John Paul having us on as well. It's an absolute honour to be on the
Paul,
podcast.
Paul John. But look, it's all right. It's all right. Um, what can you say about the game today? Like,
Well,
what
first,
results?
first things first. Before we get anywhere into the thing, because the club is going to be like the fans are going to be thinking a lot of things about the game, right? I want to not commiserate Hearts, but congratulate them because the way they were at halftime, that team was down and out, and they come back and they a massive difference in that game. Ronnie Nelson has done a serious job in that team, and they're obviously out there playing for Zelucas. Obviously, a horrible thing that's after happened. We saw what the same situation happened with. One of our own. We had Jackie Johnson had Martin Yord. We had what was it? What's his name? Rickson from Rangers. He had the same thing, and
Yeah.
Celtics had to happen with Hearts. So it's a horrible thing to happen, and they were obviously playing for him today, but they put their heart and soul into that game as well. And fair play to them. They put a great spectacle on that game today. So I have to give congratulations to Hearts in that game before we get anywhere talking about the game.
Well, first of all, when the starting lineup was done up, there was people with eyebrows up saying Scott Brown. What's going to happen? Is he going to play well? I thought overall Scott Brown played well today. Like
The
tactically,
first
he was.
half, the first half, and you could just see himself like he enjoyed every single minute of that first half. He was unbelievable. He was like Scott Brown of all. He was like the one that we all for the last couple of years. He was the Scott Brown that was been doubted. He was the Scott Brown to come back and show that his worth. He was even the I don't know if you're watching on the BBC pundits or Premier Sports
I was Premier Sports.
pundits. As BBC myself, the lads were saying that they could see Scott Brown getting into Andy Halliday's ear, getting into Naismith's ear, and he was doing Scott Brown. That's what Scott Brown does. But just in the second half, it was just it was nearly that he went in there in the second half, and it's like he had already won. And if he had been taken off in the first half, that was him done. It was grand, happy days. But I think the other reason he lasted the full amount of time is because Turnbull was taken off. But look, we'll get into that in a few minutes. But
And do you think it was
Scott Brown,
a stage
Scott
because he's been rested as well for the last two games? That could have made a
I
difference.
see. There's a few things that you can think about Scott Brown in this one, right? One, he hates Hearts. One, he's next Hibs head. Three, he was trying to make a point why he was taken off the bench for a while. Four, he was trying to prove his worth. Five, he just hates Naismith and he hates Halliday, and that's what happened. I think there was a lot of things that got in Scott Brown's head there today, and you wouldn't know which one is going to prove its worth. But look, that one there right now, those in the first he had his 45 minutes, and after that his legs weren't there. The only reason he lasted that long is because Turnbull was taken off in my mind.
And plus, he helped with the assist for Griffiths getting the tour goal as well.
That
Fantastic.
was it was mad to actually see that for a man that come out the started off the game great, and then the second half he just like he fell asunder, and all of a sudden he went for a goal, probably could have scored it, then assisted another ex Hibs player against Hearts. It's nearly like a fairy tale, in fairness, even whether you're wearing a Celtic jersey or not. Like, but look, it is what it is. But I think Scott Brown showed a hell of a lot of experience today. I just don't think he has the legs anymore to last as long as he did,
Well,
and
Neil
it
Lennon
showed
came
today. It
out.
showed today.
Neil Lennon came out and said that basically the reason why he didn't start Sorrow was down to he had a bit of a dodgy stomach, food poisoning. So that's
Yeah.
the reason why he went with it. I don't know if it was just a cover up or not, but Sorrow played average when he came on. You can't take away a lot. The 2 previous games he was pretty good. Like the defense, shaky spells in the second half with the defense. Oyer was outstanding today, absolutely outstanding. You know, the only
Oyer's been outstanding for the last couple of games, and for a man that wanted to leave the club, like you look at it's basically a tale of 2 players right in this club at the minute. Eddie wanted to leave the club, and Oyer wanted to leave the club. Eddie, as soon as all this transfer speculation came over him, he hasn't been the same player for Celtic as he has been for the last couple of years. Oyer, for the man that actually nearly put a transfer request in, he's actually kind of playing his heart and soul out of the club. He went and scored the penalty today to actually win the quadruple treble, and he celebrated and he said he wanted to take that penalty. He said it in his interview he wanted to take that penalty, and he's a different man. That fella is going to be a lot of worth in a couple of years, whether it's with us or whether it's not. He's going to be like a Virgil van Dijk in my mind.
who Edward
No, Oyer.
Oyer. Well,
Yeah.
his penalty was fantastic, but overall, like Hearts, they had the chances, and do you know what? Like Hazard, he was shaking in spells, but he went like Chris Sutton was criticising him, saying that he shouldn't went down for that chance where boys tried to take it on, but like he was right to go down. But obviously, when they got the true ball, and Oyer should have capitalised and went in for it instead, Hazard came out and it made a show of himself.
If you want to talk about Hazard, right? There's a lot of things you can talk about Hazard there today, right? Right. First of all, you can talk about the season Celtic have had with goalkeepers. First of all, we've had 3 goalkeepers in nets this season, right? And if you can tell me a team that has had 3 goalkeepers in the first half of the season in nets, I was saying to you, right, start naming them out. I wouldn't even be able to name them myself. We've had Barkas that we bought in for 5 million. We've had Bain that's come back in. And now we've had Hazard in. This is a 3rd start for a Celtics team, right? You look at, I think Hazard did a fantastic job. And now, as I said, Keith, I was calling you earlier on, and I was telling you about Hazard. And then the only mistake he made was an extra time, okay? And then after that, he made 2 penalty saves. Now, right, it's his 3rd start, and I still think he did a fantastic job. He made 1 mistake, which was in the 11th minute. That was the 1 mistake he made all game. But at that stage, he shouldn't even have had to be in that situation. That game should have been done and dusted by fucking half time. He shouldn't have had to been in that situation. If a goal went in that stage, you're right, Grant, he should have already been fucking having 2 hands in the cup.
I'm going to ask you now, and a lot of Celtic fans are watching this tonight. I appreciate it. By the way, I'm just at the seeing the comment there. 22,000 raised in funds for these 4 charities. Fantastic job by everybody that's getting involved. Absolutely fantastic. Let's try getting this up to 25k.
Keep the money coming in, lads. Keep the money coming in, lads.
As I said, it's for people that are in need, mental health, for young kids that never felt Christmas right, you know. Like, I listened to a couple of stories. I remember Steve was on last week and he was saying that he was talking to a young boy and he said, I don't believe in Santa. And he said, why? Because Santa's never delivered anything to me. A story like that breaks my heart, you know, because having 2 young kids, and if I was not to get them anything for Christmas, it just haunted me for the rest of my life. But regards to the defensive problems, like I know we're all on high hopes tonight. We've won a good game. We played against a strong championship side that have Premiership pedigree. The players that they have, is it a case that we're still worried about our defense? We're still shaky.
I see. Again, you were saying you're watching on Premier Sports, and I was watching the game on BBC, and the commentators made a great point. Billy Dodds was the co-commentator today, and he made an absolute great point. As much as I hate Billy Dodds, as every Celtic fan does, and as I can say to Billy Dodds, as I will say to any other Rangers comment, there's a certain Sky Sports Rangers commentator that we'll give the big one to, but he made a great point. Celtic have changed the defence many times this season. Celtic don't know what their number 1 defence is. Julian was there for so long. Beaton came in. Duffy was there. Julian was in with Oyer. Oyer was put in there with Beaton himself. Celtic don't know what the defence is. We don't even know what our goalkeeper is. Hazard had his 3rd start today. We've had 3 goalkeepers in there today or this season. We've had many defenders in there in front of a goalkeeper that don't know what their actual comfortable position is. And it showed today. You look at Julian and Duffy there for a moment that they actually bumped into each other, and Gazella was in there to score an easy one-on-one goal scoring
Great
opportunity.
save by Hazard, though. Great save.
That's what I'm saying. And if they had scored that, the game was fucking over. It really, really was. Hearts, in my mind, they deserve to win the game. Now, if you look at the first 45 minutes, we should have been 5-0 up at that stage, right? But if you look at the second half and after that game, we were looking. The BBC commentators put a perfect analysis on our game today. It was Celtic's season summed up in one afternoon. So we got off great. Then we let it go, and then we were nervy, and then we got back in and just pulled ourselves back out of a hole. It couldn't have picked a better analysis to describe Celtic season or what they said today, and that's exactly what happened today. Now we got out with the cup win, but it happened, right? So
it was weird because obviously a club, an honour. It's our 40th Scottish Cup as well. Congratulations to Neil Lennon, the first manager and player to do the treble in Scotland. Obviously, he's a part of Steen, Rogers, O'Neill, and he's in with them boys now with the folklore. It's mad to think that we're going back 3 or 4 weeks and a lot of people have made their mind up, and I'm one of them people, and I've said it as well. If the team are not performing, if the management are not energizing them on the sidelines, we need a change. And it's again at the stage where is he contract going to be renewed now in January because he's had to put a bit of folklore from last season?
You see, the thing is, like, you have to kind of take today, but right, right, we've had a very, very rough run of form games for the last while, and Keith, between myself and yourself, the way we were talking on your channel, whatever, like obviously that was your channel. So again, John Paul, thanks very much for having us on here. I do really appreciate it. But just the way we were saying, like, we were backing Neil Lennon for a long time, and then we're saying that Neil Lennon isn't the man anymore. But the last couple of games, like, I know we've lost a couple of games, whatever, but it just seems the last couple of games, it's been a bit of a turnaround.
Paul John as well, by the way, Mick.
John Paul John, yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, Mr. Dykes, we call him that. But that's the way I'm seeing it right now. The only thing I'm seeing right from today, you look at them players lifting that trophy. You look at Lennon looking up to the sky when he's looking at the confetti. I said, right, he's nearly praying to the gods. This is what the Celtic team need right now to see what they've done for the last 9 years. This is the boost they need to actually inject a bit of want in the club. And say, right, if you want this at the end of next season, this is you know what you have to do. And I think that was probably a blessing in disguise before anything happens for the 10-in-a-row campaign. 2nd of January is not too far away. I am very, very afraid of the 2nd of January.
You're afraid of the 2nd of January? Well, look, we have Ross County on Wednesday. I know we can't get carried away. Hopefully the lads don't drink too much juice tonight and get the head down and stay in the bubble and get focused for Ross County, because especially we're playing Ross County at home. We know what happened a few weeks ago to Ross County. It's going to build momentum. It could be a make-or-break game for Celtic this season. I know we've been saying it since Lille, but this could be a make-or-break. I don't think it's going to be obviously the highlight game of the season, because the highlight game of the season has to be kicking off and beating Rangers in a second.
I don't think there's any other results that's going to save any person's career in this club apart from a win in that result. Everything is leading up to that result, and even the board have been saying, we're back in Lennon, and then it's all at the very end of every single conversation they're saying the 2nd of January. I say, if we don't come out with 3 points in that result, there's going to be a lot of fucking shit happening.
Do you think he's getting shafted? If we've to lose that on the 2nd of January, do you think the board are putting pressure on him, saying, okay, you have to go now. You have to go.
I think they're putting pressure on themselves, in fairness.
After considering what he's after doing today, he's after making history.
I don't think it's fair on Lennon. I think they're putting pressure on themselves. And like we as we said already, Lennon has had a lot of balls to stay with the club now the last couple of weeks. Like we were saying 2-3 weeks ago, that Lennon leaving the club now, knowing that he's got a cup final ahead of him, that this could be a historic moment. the board could be sitting back thinking like, right, this could be take a little bit of the pressure off the club. That's saying right, they're after getting a quadruple treble, but it'll take the limelight off the 10 in a row. But at the same time, every commentator, every person that was commenting on the game today is that they're constantly talking about 10 in a row. I say, will this put a shadow over the 10 in a row? Will this put a shadow over the doubts? There was the commentator on BBC said 3 times today. I counted. I actually asked myself, why is this guy actually still talking about this during the game when he's already said it once? He said, well, they've had bad games again in the Europe. They topped the group in Europa League. They did this in the Scottish Cup. They're not going to get the 13th trophy in a row. And I said, why are you still doing it? Are you trying to get the media back in to put the pressure on Celtic? And now this is, in my mind, from supporting Celtic, as it always has been, it's basically Scotland been against Celtic from day one. But and I'm still thinking this guy, even if Celtic won the quadruple treble, he's trying to reignite that. It's Scotland against fucking Celtic, no matter who fucking wins it. Like, and that's what I was seeing today.
I personally feel, and I've said this on me many times, I just feel like the board, regardless if they're going to make a change in January or not, it's going to be hard to get a marquee manager in. So, like,
yeah, I think at this
stage, it's a poison chalice. Like, you're 16 points behind.
At this stage, forget about it. Neil Lennon is going to be there till the end of the season, regardless. The last time Celtic made a change halfway through the season was when John Barnes and
Tony Mowbray.
Kenny Dalglish, Tony Mowbray as well. They're the last 2 times Celtic made a change, and a change is not going to come right now. Neil Lennon is after winning a quadruple treble, and he's, as you said yourself, he's the first player manager to win a treble with Celtic. He's won many titles now with Celtic. The chap deserves credit. Right, obviously things aren't going well this season, and I genuinely think it's the pressure of 10 in a row is what's getting to the players. The players are walking into that club and they know exactly what's going on. You see what Scott Brown was. He was dropped, and all of a sudden he's a player that we've known Scott Brown to be for years today, enjoying himself for 45 minutes, and all of a sudden, click, the game is fucking over. Walks back out and the game is fucking back on. I say, oh, shit, we're going to lose this game straight away. It's like Celtic players have got too complacent, and it happened today. They were too used to winning. It was the way they felt for the last couple of years, and that was the feeling they had back over them. I said, actually, lads, we're going to coast this game, and then it just went to asunder. They have to realise that teams have accepted that Celtic are going to the Celtic have this feeling over them that they're unbeatable, and it's like they're trying to feel every team has got together and said, right, lads, how can we beat Celtic? And this was Eric going back to the Brendan Rodgers season when we were invincible. It's nearly like every club in Scotland got together and goes, lads, how can we beat Celtic? And they've come up with some sort of formula.
That's it, and especially with the fans being in the stadium, it's like they don't.
I don't accept that, Keith. I don't accept that. We're saying with no fans in the stadium, right? We've had our fans in the stadium, right? Rangers are the same as well. They have the exact same fan base as us, going to games the whole lot, and they haven't got their fans. But at the same time, they are fucking winning games. So I'm not taking this fucking no fan at games shit, whatever. I don't. They're professionals. They're paid money to play football. They're not paid to fucking listen to fans and get them going. Yes, it is a boost, but I'm not accepting it. I'm sorry, I'm not accepting it.
Right. Well, look at 12 honours. Just want to go through, obviously, these 12 cup wins. Was that the best one? Or was it the one Tom Rogic against Aberdeen?
Right. Well, it was up there at one of the better ones because we won it the hard way. You look at the penalty shootouts that Celtic have had for the last 30 years. We've had obviously the last penalty shootout we were in was the one of the most horrible ones. Was when a certain new team came along and beat us, and that was a hard day. The one before that was Spartak Moscow. We won that one for the Champions League. Then we had Valencia 2001, 2002. And then the one before that was...
well. Dundee United,
Aberdeen. It was Aberdeen 1990. Oh, yeah, sorry, Barge as well. Yeah, sorry. That was the league. So 5 penalty shooters we've had in the last 30 years. I'm not going to lie to you. When I was looking at the penalty shoot, I thought we were going to lose it today. I really thought we were going to lose it.
You see, when Christie missed it, well, it was a great save by Gordon, and Gordon played well for Hearts today. I didn't agree with him throwing the ball at the team, like losing the plot.
Can we just talk about that for a second, right? I don't know what Gordon's tactics was there, right? Throwing the ball at a player. Like, what would have happened, right, if the ball had hit the crossbar, the right post, the left post, bounced off the keeper, and went into the net? Would he have thrown the ball at Edouard then? I said Edouard took a chance, and he decided he wasn't trying to embarrass Gordon. He took a chance, and went in. And I don't agree with Gordon throwing the ball to the player. If Gordon had been the other end of the field 2 seasons ago, and Edouard had done that, he would have been up the fucking field celebrating with Edouard. So how can he actually have the balls to actually throw the ball at him?
Well, Moose had done it against Rangers. He did in hand, and if you remember that one.
But Gordon was also in nets as well for that, and he wasn't saying anything then.
He had a cracking day as well. He pulled off, I think it was 3 saves in a row.
So how has Gordon got the balls to actually pick a ball out of the net and throw it at one of his ex team? Edouard wasn't trying to fucking throw any embarrassment at Gordon. Edouard was doing what he does best. He was being a prick, and he's being a top fucking striker, which is what every striker is, a prick.
I hope he gets his confidence now, actually scoring outfield. That's the thing about Edouard. I hope this boosts his confidence. I know he's been scoring in Europa League games and stuff, but like even the chance he had today against Gordon, I know it was straight at Gordon, but could have done better. Could have done better.
It was. Look, come here, with them situations where he's got the right 3 seconds to think. That's all he has to do. It's hard to fucking think of a person. You can't blame someone for thinking within 3 seconds. So I'm not going to take anything of that. But we know what Gordon was like when he was for us. He was great shot stopper. I know that's a cliche as well as he's typical goalkeeper, shot stopper. But he did what he does best. And that's why we were asking ourselves at the start of the season, should we have kept Gordon? And we probably should. We really probably should have.
You didn't see any bad passing out of him today, to be honest. As much as he's had spells at Celtic.
He has moments, all right. He definitely did. He did what he usually does, kick the ball over the goal line or the sideline for just like no reason at all. Like so. But what I had to love it the most out of today, especially in the first 45 minutes, was Brown against Naismith. It was just like 2 lads of old. I say that right. All right, Misters. The boys are out to play again. You have to fucking sort these lads out, and they couldn't do it. And even beaten as much as a honey is, he had a great game today as well. Like so, and
there's a couple of decisions. There's a couple of decisions in the first half where it should have been a free kick and a yellow card, and he just let it go.
But I don't think he had a bad game. I don't think he had a bad game.
He didn't have a bad game even when he played Rangers in Celtic Park. I didn't think he was quite fair because the pressure was on him then after the previous time he managed refereed in eye blocks against us. At that time he was spotting in the bar.
But, I get that. Yeah,
we'll just go back to these 12 trophies. Like, is it the Rodgers moment that sticks out to you? I know, like we've all celebrated these 4 amazing years.
One sec.
But I'm just looking at it. Gary Doolan.
Sorry.
Is saying we got beaten by Falkirk in 2006 in the League Cup.
Sorry. Go again. There. There's a dog was fucking acting up there.
So, regards to the 12 trophies, what one sticks out to you the most?
I suppose the one Rogic scored the last minute winner because it was the first treble, and it's obviously going to be the one that sticks out the most. Like the one to get the following season, it was a handy enough game. Like we had
it wrapped up by half time.
Yeah, but last season as well against Hearts.
Last season was a roller coaster. I thought it was a great final. It really was. Like
I think today is a big one because it was a penalty shootout, and like that's going to stick out. As I said at the start of this conversation, I have to give a lot of credit to Hearts because the way they compose themselves. Like they were playing for Thelucas especially, and that's one thing that has to be mentioned today. Like whether you're playing for Celtic or Hearts.
But we done it last year. We done it for Chalmers and for McNeil last year when we had the numbers on the shorts.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. But I still think Thelucas needs a mention there on this one today. Right, we seen one of our own die of Martin Uran as well, and Thelucas was the same situation as her. And I think when the boys came at half time, the Hearts lads, they knew straight away that they were playing for someone else more than anything. Like, he died halfway through the semi-final against Hibs not so long ago, and that they obviously had that in the back of their mind. So I obviously give that a shout out there without, like, so, and it's one of those fucking things there. Like, you can at half time in a cup final kind of thing. We've seen this in fucking films for something. Like, you watch like the Mighty Ducks or fucking The Waterboy or something. Like, you're down at half time and all of a sudden this is turned around, and it's basically a fucking carbon copy of what happens today. Like, the only fucking bad thing was, like, for them, which is better for us, is that the fact that we actually won today. So it's one of those things. A cup final, anything can happen, and I don't think you can put anything on the season. What happened today, because it is a cup final. So
that's it. It's a cup final from last season, but overall, it's Celtic have their name on the trophy yet again. It was a delayed cup final, but it's crazy to think we're back in the mix at the end of January again to defend the cup. Like, it's literally, what, a month away, and we're looking at, like, we have to defend the cup again. It's great to see Scott Brown play well. McGregor played well, but McGregor really got stuck in today. Rogers played well when he came on. You know, he had a couple of chances in extra time to get an assist.
There was one moment in the last couple of minutes on one of the halves. I don't know whether it was extra time or full time at this stage, and he was just pure wizardness. And all he needed was somebody on the end of his ball. He took around fucking 5 people, and all he put it across the box, and there was no one there. And one of the commentators said, like, this is what Brendan Rodgers said about Tom Rogic. This is why he's got the name, the Wizard of Oz. And it's just like there was no one there at the end of the box at that stage from him. So
hopefully he rests Brown now on Wednesday night, bring Sorrow back in fully up for it. It was like when he's bringing Laxall and Frimpong on, I was like, what's this all about? He's looking for a bit of pace down the wings. Taylor played well. Taylor was pretty good today, stuck in.
When I seen the two boys come on, right, I kind of knew exactly what Lennon was at. He was trying to inject the team that he had for the last couple of weeks. And I said, right, I'm bringing these two lads on. These boys have the pace. These boys know what winning is about. Taylor hasn't been in that winning mentality for the last while. Obviously, he won against Kilmarnock there last week. But then you see the two lads come on and said, these lads fucking know how to get up and down the wings. But the problem that those two lads had on was fucking Eddie was in the box, and Eddie is our problem at the moment. But look,
he needs more support, innit? Regardless of formation we're playing. Do we go for 4-4-2 with Eddie in the league now to give it a bash, bring Lee in now?
See, this is the danger now, because like I do think we should go 4-4-2, because as soon as Griffiths come on in the box, he's like, we haven't got a strike. We got with Edward, we got a forward. We haven't got a striker. Griffiths is an out-and-out hatcher. He's a striker. He'd stand in front of the goalkeeper until he gets that little poke in there that's going to get you goals. And that's what we need right now. And we haven't got that. So, and we need Griffiths there starting up top, I think. And even if he's not starting, bring him on for the last half an hour. I think that's where we can get our problem sorted out. And it's the next couple of games are going to be crucial before we get into the 2nd of January. Like, I don't want to take too much away from today. Right, today
you don't want it, but you want to look forward as well. Like, you got to think about, right, what if we don't get a result in Ibrox on the 2nd of January? Does the club invest in players? That's the question. Like, does the club?
I don't think that's going to be a change. That's not going to be a change. Like, if we don't get a result in Ibrox on the 2nd of January, then I'm personally fucking thinking to myself that it's too late at that stage. It really is too late at that stage. That investments change. See, when it comes to change, you have to invest time in getting a change to work. But when it comes to 2nd of January, we're actually kind of like one thing's change straight away. We want results straight away, and it's just not going to happen. You're injecting like a bodybuilder full of steroids and expecting to change straight away. That's what you'd be wanting to do with Celtic. That's what you're expecting to change.
I'd do 4-4-2 anyway. I'm looking at the comments here. I'll go for 4-4-2 on Wednesday night. Look, we need revenge against Ross County. We need to go out and actually scalp them.
We need to spank them. See, a lot of things people are saying as well when it comes to Hearts as well about today, right? That they were a championship team and it's, you beat a championship team today, right? Yeah, fair play to you, yeah, grand. Well, you have to keep in mind, right? That was the same team that beat Rangers in the quarterfinals not so long ago. It was the exact same squad, only they added to it. You likes of Andy Halliday, Stephen
And
Naismith, Craig
Gordon.
Gordon. You know what I mean? The likes of them players, they're not championship players. They're actually Premiership quality when it comes to Scotland. So I don't know where people are saying that they're like a Sunday league. At the same time as well, even no matter who you're playing, if it's a championship team, a Premiership team, or a Sunday league team, a cup final can happen. Anything can happen in a cup final. So it's just basically everything's been left out there. But when it comes to Hearts, that was like top. That's a decent quality team. There's people had loyalty to Hearts when they actually went down because of the way they were relegated, and people actually are loyal to
They've been
them.
down 3 times, Mick.
But the way they were relegated last season, they weren't able to defend themselves. They had like 7 or 8 games to stay safe. It didn't happen, and a lot of players stayed. The likes of Naismith, Halliday, and then Gordon Wentham as well. They're actually Premiership caliber. They could have went to the likes of Kilmarnock or St Johnstone, something like that, like, and got a bit of Premiership football. But they stayed with Hearts. That team should be walking the Championship team. They should be in the Premier League, and you can't argue with me on.
I know. I don't want to put a damper on this, folks. I know there is in the comments people are talking about managerial change. I completely understand. Some people are saying that Lennon should just resign and just let the team move on going into the rest of the second half of the campaign. I completely understand.
Right? Anybody is saying that to ask me who's going to take over the job and tell me why.
Now this is where I'm going to throw it at you, right? There's people saying Prescu, the former Cluj manager, he's out of work at the moment. He left Cluj 2 weeks ago. We have Slavan Bilic, which he done a great job for Croatia.
Yeah,
got West Brom promoted, done a terrible job at West Ham. I thought he was absolutely useless at West Ham. I felt he got fair enough. He's conceded 26 goals in 12 games. Look, they're a team being promoted from the English Championship. They got a great result against City the other night. Slavan Bilic, I wouldn't put him. He's not a near the standard of a Brendan Rodgers type of manager we'd go at.
To be honest, he's a top manager. I will say he's a top manager, but he's been this typical Sam Allardyce type person, right? And he could be a good person for Celtic, right? Like, but at the same time, you bring a manager into that club right now. You tell me now what manager is going to change that rate and win 10 in a row. You tell me what manager is going to come into that club and say, right, I'm going to win 10. I'm going to walk into a club that is on the verge of a history fucking breakdown. I'll take it the season after, no problem.
What I'm afraid is if they were to sell the Celtic vacancy, they'll probably like, oh well, we have 2 assistants here. They're going to help you introduce to the team, Kennedy and Strachan. I don't think Lawwell and Desmond are willing to have the balls to release them from the contracts or give them other roles.
See, Celtic, people think that a lot of people in this world think that Celtic is like a club that is like it's just a lower league team in England. No, people know Celtic is an actual historical team that is worldwide known, and they know exactly what 10 in a row means. A manager is not going to walk into this team right now and say, right, I'm not going to walk in there and deny a club 10 in a row because it's going to come back on me. So a manager changes this stage, any fan out there can forget about it. Just you're going to have to realise that Celtic, Neil Lennon is going to be the Celtic manager for the rest of the season, and I will be backing him.
And if he does change it around, and I've came out and said this, if Lenny changed this around, I'll get him on my chest. He wins this league. Okay, he's claiming he has the evidence there that he's done it. He can change it around. Yeah. I only think the way that Neil Lennon can change it around if he gets the right coaching staff in. I still don't believe it was first time in a long time we actually seen Kennedy on the sidelines. He was actually willing to walk down the Hampden steps and actually try guide a team.
But there was only one time when Neil Lennon was sitting down in his dugout was when it went 2-2, and then but any other time of tonight was when the most time Neil Lennon was on his touchline and Kenny was up beside him. Now, it's probably a good thing that was in Hampden Park because we know the dugouts are like halfway up the fucking stand in Hampden Park as well. So nobody wants to be walking up and down the stairs the whole time. But like Lennon was on the first line for the most of that game. He was animated. He was jumping up and down. But then like there was one moment obviously when the camera obviously saw it was right. Well, we're going to wait for Lennon to be in his dugout, and then we'll throw the cameras on him. And that's nearly what happened tonight. And I fucking nearly kind of shot the media down for that. I said, oh yeah, you just fucking pick you one moment to fucking put the camera. And Lennon, like, other than that, he was in the touchline the whole time. Like I really do think he's had a different turnaround in the last couple of weeks. And
he's looking more fresh, you know. He looks more energetic. Maybe
there was one moment tonight. He genuinely looked like that. He had grey in his face because when it went 2-2 and then it went 3-3, the grey was in his face. And but
like
the one moment, but the one moment in his face tonight when he was looking up at the confetti and he was looking up, so, oh my fucking god, I can't believe I'm actually here holding a trophy. But the reaction that Scott Brown and McGregor had to him was saying, "No, Gaffer, we want you to lift this trophy." And he was saying, "No," and he turned. But he always turned around and goes, "No, lads, you lift that fucking trophy." And then when he turned around,
did you see him on the side when he went up and he started celebrating Bruni at it? Then he was on the side. He was like, "No, get in the middle, you get in the front. We want you in the front."
Yeah. But see, do you know what, Keith, do you know what that said to me as well? It actually shows that the players in that dressing room actually do back Lennon. It says it's not there's actually any bad shit going on with Lennon. And this is where the fans have to realise there is no badness with the backroom staff. There's obviously a bit of a glitch. And as I said, the commentator in the BBC, the commentating room said there's obviously that a little bit of pressure for 10 in a row. The 10 in a row pressure is obviously getting to them. And it was evident tonight.
Well, what you need to do is just take every game as it comes. And we need to stop thinking about any opposition team that are playing well and what they're doing. We need to focus on Air Cup finals, Ross County. We get over that. We go move on to Dundee United because everything doesn't happen in football as much as we were putting 35 million into the squad. Some of the signings haven't been hit the ground. You've seen what's happening with Barkas. You've seen Bain today. I don't know if you've seen the warm-up. They were obviously doing the goalkeepers were doing the training, but Bain took a shot and he hit the crossbar and in. I was like this doing the Bruni. I was just like, it's a bit weird, you know. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But Barkas,
but there's players there on the pitch today that you actually see that want to play, and you could actually see it in Brown as well that he actually shot. Now, there's two things I was thinking about Brown today. Right, the first half because he hates Hearts because he's a Hibs man, right? But the second half is he a Celtic man or is he not? Because
Bruni done an interview with BBC today, and he talked about if I'm on the pitch or I'm in the stands or I'm playing, I love this club as much as the fans, and I want success.
Yeah, but does he love the club more than he hates Hearts? That's the question I was asking myself.
Well, because after the celebration?
No, but he's a Hibs man. He's a Hibs man through and through, no matter what. No matter if he's a captain of Celtic or not, he's a Hibs man regardless of my mind, right?
But he's always 15 years of service.
He will, yeah, and
22 honours.
True point. But does he hate Hearts more? Does he hate Rangers Hearts more?
Doesn't really matter who he hates once he does a job for us, and he got in there today. He orchestrated himself quite well. He stored them up. He got Naismith booked for messing around with Hazard. You know, he done well. Sometimes he has failed in the past. For example, the last Glasgow derby, he was atrocious, and I feel deep down inside, and I think a lot of people will agree with me in the stream, Brown has to leave at the end of the season as a player. Put him in the coaching mix. If he wants to go back to Hibs, as you said, he's a Hibs man. Let him go back to Hibs. He's been an amazing servant, you know. Like he's up there honor-wise with the likes of the great Caesar. It's phenomenal. Yeah. Like obviously with captain skills, very similar to Paul McStay.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind that he'll have a go down. He will not go down in Celtic folklore other than anything as a hero of a captain. But I just think but this season especially, right, that like, when he's been playing, he hasn't been himself. He hasn't been playing well. And all of a sudden, when he's playing against Hearts, he puts his heart and soul into the game. And so, which makes me ask: is he a Hibs man or is he a Celtic man? Does he hate Hearts more than we hate Rangers?